Hello.
Hi, Christian.
All going well?
Yeah, well, am I audible?
What's that?
Am I audible?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Connect.
Which otter are we going with? Looking at that. No, one of them is down. Hey, Jordan.
Hey, Christian. Hey, guys.
Oh, yeah. We are lots of friendly AIs. Reshma was just, there we go.
Yeah, I came back. There was a problem with my headphone, so I was fixing it. Question before we head into main sections. Actually, I attended a meeting that was in my calendar, OSC agenda meeting. Is it still there? Or I attended that meeting, there was no one.
What was that again? I'm sorry.
Yesterday, there's like a meeting in my calendar, OSC agenda set. So I attended the meeting. There was no one in that meeting.
Yeah, that one that one's on pause right now. I'll let you know if that comes back. I've pulled away the main invites, so the only way you might have that is if you have the open source committee calendar. I left it on there for my record keeping, but yeah, right now that's on pause.
Yeah, I also briefly logged in there, Reshma. And I thought we are going to set the agenda for today. So yes.
Yeah, that was the first meeting I saw in the calendar. So I missed a couple of meetings. So I thought I would come in that meeting and know what is happening. So there was no one.
Yeah.
We'll work on that, but the best place to catch up is definitely going to be Discord. That's where I've been pushing a lot of updates for everybody. So
Yeah, I've seen.
Which is a question for y'all too. Is Discord a good medium, or would y'all prefer a Slack thread? Or we migrated Discord with the previous committee members, but we can always change medium if it's easier to coordinate.
I think, yeah, one thing that's what I see happening in Intersect. We're using Slack, ClickUp, these, and there's so many channels. So you need to be all around. I'm okay with the Discord. I do miss time to time some alert, but still, I think that will not get solved by moving to another media. It will still possibly, it is about being attentive, right? In India, most common for us we use is WhatsApp. Like you hardly miss the WhatsApp, but I don't recommend WhatsApp.
Oh, we can also just book tickets to your house too, if that helps. Yeah, a lot of my channels on WhatsApp are on ignore right now. So, hey, Robert, thanks for joining.
Hey, everyone. I share your pain. I set a culture very early when I was with my company that I only answered emails and Slack, and everything else I deliberately took my time on. So everyone just went to that channel to find me. It was very helpful. but I also missed a lot of messages.
Yeah.
Fair
And
enough.
here, it's
Okay.
not about company, right? It's about the community. So different choices, different committees. So yeah. Okay, Tex, over to you. Please guide us.
Yeah, I was looking. I was giving it another minute or two here. I know we we don't always have the time, but I was giving it another minute or two because we are not yet quorate. So it's just trying to get to that place here.
Georg will be out, I think, this week.
Most likely, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so not court can't make decisions, but let's at least get through some of the review, and we'll circle back as we need to. So here is the agenda that's been prepared. Well, we actually are now court. We have Sebastian, so perfect. So for anybody who's wanting to know, welcome to the Open Source Committee meeting, February 5th. And we're court here with Uday, Reshma, Jordan, and Sebastian. Okay. That is, it's 4 out of 7, which we're down to at the current time. So just for reference. Okay. Agenda here today, developer advocate, Charlie 3, tooling, milestone stuff, events. There's a whole bunch of stuff. So we're just going to kind of jump right in. Uche is the only developer advocate here, so let me just give him a quick space to provide any update he might have for us.
Yeah. Hi everyone. So far, we the developer advocates has been working really hard on, going about the activities like, the developer working groups sessions, and then the the onboarding sessions as well. But most importantly, what we've been super focused on for the past week and into the next week is the Cardano Africa Tech Summit. So hopefully we all should be there next week. So it's like, this huge event, that kind of like gathers every Cardano enthusiast, within the continent, as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, so we've just been like trying to like see how we can, participate and, get more people on board and also like talk to the community members, during the conference. So yeah, that's pretty much about it for now.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Uche. All right, we'll keep moving right along here. So some of you may have seen the document that's been shared in the Discord channel there that is regarding Charlie 3, if I'm not mistaken, for project incubation, specifically on the basis of assisting and moving along with the open source strategy for the Charlie 3 Oracle, at least some of those repositories. But as I'm not the professional, we do have one here. I will pass this over to Robert, and I'll also kind of give you about that 5-minute timer like you had yesterday so we can keep on with other things.
Sounds good. Thank you. Appreciate the time today, everyone. And I apologize. It's 6 in the morning for me. I think the steering call yesterday was 7, so I normally don't expose myself to people this early. It's not right. But I'd like to submit Charlie 3 moving on to the incubation and for open sourcing. Why now is maybe the question. If Charlie 3 is one of the oldest companies in Cardano, we started in 2021. We launched one of the first contracts after the hard fork. We have 4 solutions across 117 repositories. Obviously, not all 117 are going open, but We have two native oracles, a partner chain that's built on the partner chain tooling for Midnight that we're open sourcing, and we currently have a DEX aggregator. And so the question why now is we've had conflicts at a board level for quite some time about this decision. But now I'm in sole control of Charlie 3. I'm the only board member, and it's a decision that I've been trying to make for years. And I think that it aligns with what's missing or a gap in Cardano. One of the kind of dirty secrets of Cardano is the infrastructure that people are doing is bootstrapped, fragmented, ad hoc. This leads to users being liquidated in the background due to bad data and other events that get kind of brushed under the rug, and these users get paid off and you never hear about it. And so one of the big problems is a standard or for using an accurate and secure data network to bring data on chain. And Charlie 3 has that. And we're trying to drive adoption and distribution. And that's our vision or mission is for the adoption of smart contract technology in Cardano. One of the most telling signs for us was our biggest customers have come to us because large whales have wanted to use Cardano ecosystem and said, we're not moving funds on until you use secure infrastructure. And they delivered our sales. And so what we're trying to do is maximize adoption, maximize distribution, and maximize access. And so we're willing to give over the IP to Intersect, have support with governance on how we're going to scale this, maintain this, and build this out so that it's supported for the builders. And I think it's a long time overdue. I think with the incubation, that's our first step. We're primarily looking for advisory on how to make this transition. It's complicated. We've already open sourced like most of our solutions, choosing licenses and putting contributions standards on it, but we're not experts in this field, and I'm not an expert. I'm on loan as an executive member, so I need support. Our team needs support as we move through this transition. I want to keep some of it private. So there's one enterprise fork of one of the open source repos we're going to keep for Web2 clients. And then the second one is going to be a marketplace that we're already developing. Similar like Red Hat, we want to sell certification for networks, like a marketplace where people can build and sell or offer free adapters. So like we've given some examples that we're going to put out of like adapter to about 30,000 tokens on other chains. And so, yes, I think that's pretty much in a nutshell what we're trying to do and achieve. So thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
I don't want to be too fly by night. Are there any questions from committee members? Today?
Yeah. So thank you, Robert, for the proposal. And first of all, I totally agree with the kind of requirement or need or problem statement here. If I go back like about a year ago, I saw this as a potential need or problem. I proposed one, the building open source Oracle, of course, was not approved that point of time. And we had heard of Charlie 3 definitely before, and you being open to make it open source is great news for Cardano network, I think. So thank you for that initiative. So that's the first part. Now, the second is, I'm trying to understand what mechanism you would like to work. You said just now, I'm just trying to grasp that. But one question is, are you looking for any financial aspect in immediate term, or are you just handing over this to Intersect, and at least in near term, any financial assistance is expected, not expected? I could not see in the proposal very clearly. So if anything there, if you can be explicit about it.
Absolutely. So we do have some catalyst support for this transition. So the immediate, we have a small team, and we don't make as much money as people think. And so maintaining we're probably applying for the maintainer retainer for our team members to help with that. And then probably I put one more submission in for the tooling in March. And that's just to make sure that the team in the spring has some support in the transition for extra work to shift it over to the repos to you, to support people coming to them asking for questions, creating documentation, creating additional guides, and then promotion, but very little financial. The main thing I'm scared of and the worry I have is doing this properly. And I'm more concerned with the governance aspect of like our North Star is adoption. So it's not so much I'm looking for funding. I'm looking for, we've already open sourced MIT, our current push Oracle and pull Oracle. This is already available. We've AGPL part of it, which we're going to probably move back to MIT. I don't know what license to choose. And so this transition right now is already happening. We just need support first because it's happened very quickly. And then funding requests, I would put in probably one for the tooling, I think sustainability aspect. Christian, sure.
Yeah. Uday, to clarify what I've consulted him with is the maintainer retainer to compensate the devs as we open source it. There's a project support request to do this right for our open source lawyer, just for a few hours to make sure we've done this legally and structurally sound. And then tooling sustainability after the transition's already taken place, as Robert was mentioning. But all around, it's very less the financial ones. It's more about just giving this back to the community in the right way.
Yeah, okay. No, that's good. Thank you. I mean, Robert, I can give the feedback that in the last 2 years, I had to have kind of 2 custom Oracle build. Okay, and in other words, implemented 2 different Oracle for different needs, and that's where my point was, like, there's no need to build Oracle for every need, right? There should be a common infrastructure, and I should be able to use that same Oracle infrastructure for different needs. So that's where my thought was coming, and you making it open source definitely make a lot of sense. So pull in support for that.
Amazing. And I went down to Rare Evo in Vegas, and we're working very closely with Palm Economy. I know Phil at Anastasia has an open source Oracle. I've talked to so many people, and I'm like, why didn't we have a conversation? Why did we waste development time? We could have reused what we already have. And so this is really was pushing me to go, everyone has these fragmented solutions. And some of them, like we've spent probably $2-3 million on our solutions. We've been up since October 22 with not a single downtime. So there's a base here that an infrastructure that the community can take, and it's open. They can trust it. Like, apart from the Twitter FUD and the politics, they can see the code and they can start working on it, and it's governed by Intersect. I think that's, for me, for our team that we've worked so hard, that would be a big win for us.
Yeah, all for it. Having said that, maybe you did say something about that some part will be private. Can you clarify that maybe once again? I'm not sure that is that full project is outsourced, I mean open source, or is it that some part is not? So we shouldn't be tying in the user that for some part that they need to go to you and pay for it. How is it? Can you just explain a little bit?
Sure. So we have 4 solutions. One solution is just a DEX aggregator that's already open source. It's already MIT, and we're just maintaining it. And that one we're going to continue to scale and probably release some other adapters like that. We have the current push Oracle, which other users like Moneta is using a version of it, Fluid. That's going to be fully MIT. We have a pull Oracle, which is that's someone requests data at the time, and then we send it. There's only one on Cardano right now. It's native. That's full MIT. So those 3 already are going to be full MIT. We have a partner chain solution, which is based on the partner chain tooling for Midnight, which is basically a side chain designed for oracles. And we have a bridge that posts data onto Cardano. Right now, that is BSL because we didn't really know what we're doing. And that's part of the transition, is what licenses are we choosing? We will likely go full MIT there as well. We might put an AGPL on the bridge. I'm not sure. I want to push more towards Apache or MIT. But that version, we're going to customize the sidechain for a customer. So we're gonna release the code as MIT most likely, and then fork it and create a custom version. And this is solely because the enterprise customers that we have don't want their version open. And if they do, great. Yeah, we just wanted that option.
Okay. Just checking that if this part of description is there in the report, maybe I will look into that, but that's good. Thank you. Yeah. One question to you back that you just mentioned, and what I heard, I'm trying to understand, right? That this is the proposal right now is for incubation side, right? But then we are talking about maintainer, retainer. Then we are also talking about tooling. So it looked like all the kind of the initiative we have in open source, we are covering through this one. So maybe for my understanding, maybe Christian, you can explain, or maybe Robert, you know better.
I can take this on directly here. So the way that the programs were built, they were designed to work together. And at this point, especially considering kind of the length of the process of different projects applying, not applying, wherever we're at, there's a point where within our current budget, we need to show that the process does work. And in this particular case, we get an opportunity to work with a founding project in Cardano, or close to it anyway. So it's not necessarily the worst example to allow participation in every program, but every program has its own constraints, and every application will be validated as such. So if there's by incubating it, incubation and the maintainer retainer program are kind of linked. We already have an example of that with Evolution SDK. So that one's not as crazy to pick up on. The next piece is going to be the tooling piece. And so if there are tools required now that this project is becoming open source, right, that's a different tool and is supposed to have a specific functionality to the Cardano ecosystem. And it'll have to be based on those merits alone. So go ahead, Christian.
Yeah, the whole focus of the paid open source model is to sustain all the critical functions. And so it presents a menu of options. Now, incubation is not directly tied to that. It's meant that Intersect can serve as a mentor for open source best practice, and it does not guarantee funding inherently. That's where the committee has to decide what can be approved. So yeah, they all work together, but we can work use case by use case as to what's needed. Now, if one project was incubated and they wanted 500K for development costs, I don't think they need maintainer retainer inherently. So,
yeah. So that's kind of my point was I want to ensure, and I started with that, fully support the initiative and really appreciate Robert. But just I want to make sure that it's not the multiple funding is kind of applied, and or even if it is applied, we want to be aware properly. So I understand now that it is coming through the initiative of incubation, right? So that some of the supporting services we're providing can be provided, but no direct fund there. And then eventually it will be put in maintainer retainer program. So there's ongoing maintenance is happening. That's the main kind of the funding for Robert's team. And then when there is specific tooling time to time when is required, there could be some funding from that, right? Is that correct interpretation?
Yes.
Okay, that's exactly it. Is that we have some support right now, but I suspect once we make the move, we're like as a business owner, I'm nervous, but I want to make sure the team can obviously continue working on the solution, that we don't run out of funds and it's abandoned mid transition. And so that's kind of my intent is transition, get the dust settled, get the retainers in for the guys that are there, they're maintaining, and then put in the appropriate tooling, reasonable tooling requests that come up over the next 60 days. Yeah.
All right. Any other pressing questions on this? Spend a little bit more time than desired, but that is okay. Okay, there is a poll live, so voting members, please make sure that you attend to that. Again, that is the 9 dots in the bottom, and then you should see polls as an option. So please make sure you submit your vote. on approving Charlie 3 for project incubation. Next, I'm going to hop over to the tooling selection criteria. So this is for the tooling sustainability program. You guys may have seen me talk about this in the Discord a couple of different times. We're going to go ahead and just take a look at it right now. Christian and I went through and made some other changes here, but I've got kind of a final markup that I'm just looking to make sure that we can get published. So I can go through this slowly, but I didn't want to take the whole meeting time here. There's also something I'm checking on with Andamio after this, so let me actually take a moment here. Is there anybody that has time about 30 minutes after the meeting and wants to sync on how funds are dispersed for the tooling program? If there's no comment on that, then I've already included the relevant committee members. In this particular case here, we should also ask or look at, we don't need to make a change immediately at this time, but paying through the Andamio platform, we would typically stay paying in the ADA token. We can still pay up to these thresholds, or we can look at changing these bands to be in an ADA value. Does anybody have a particular preference on that, or should the payments kind of stay in that US value, but we pay the ADA accordingly to the cost?
I think at this point we have to switch it to ADA because we can't control the price of the funds we have for this program.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I guess that's maybe it's difficult to change as well, but yeah, this ADA versus USD has been a constant discussion, right? When it's high, then it look like, oh my God, too much ADA going or too much money going. But when it is not, then so yeah, I think it's tricky one. Particularly, I'm comfortable so far. There's a range, right, mentioned there. So accordingly, I think in situation it can be approved. So mostly I'm fine either way, but yeah, other members also can mention.
Yeah, well, and the price bands just serve as guidance. You can always allocate more or less than what's in an area. It just provides projects expectations, kind of.
Okay. So is there any specific call for a decision on what we do as far as, do we leave it be? Do we change that to ADA? I would note that USDM factors are still a consideration, but we are not in a position to do a transfer at this time. So. Can I get some feedback? So we're saying change to ADA or leave it in US dollars? I'm missing the point here, sir.
To me, as I said, it doesn't make much difference. Eventually, we are paying in ADA anyway. The program got approved equivalent USD, getting in ADA. Now it is. I know it's very difficult for you as Intersect also to manage the fund, right? So we are already in difficult situation anyway. I'm rather preferring a little bit that this can be kept it right now, and we see the situation as it comes. I'm comfortable because the range is there, so that's what I'm saying.
Okay, so go ahead, Bernard.
Yes, I go for supporting Cardano projects, stable coins like USDM. If it can be in USDM, it's a stable coin native to Cardano, supporting also our communities. I think that is my opinion. Thank you.
Bernard, eventually it's going to be paid in ADA anyway. This is the in the program point of view. What do we put it? Eventually it's going to be paid in ADA. So that's the supporting.
So I don't know what is the cost, but I believe there is a cost of transferring money from US dollars to ADA when you need it. Maybe I don't know how big that cost is, but if it is on the Cardano native token like USDM to ADA, I may be wrong, I believe we should have very small transactions there. Thank you.
I don't think there's any difference. At least in the two situations, there is no difference in cost. There is a cost, but that doesn't change if you put here USD or USDM or ADA. Doesn't change anything. I think it's a matter of due to the currency exchange prices fluctuating so rapidly. That's why this discussion is coming. I understand.
I'll let Christian go, but I put up a poll, by the way, just so you guys see, for leaving the tooling sustainability program as marketed in US dollars. But when I'm going to get the details on Andamio, we would pay that out through the Andamio platform in ADA. If we get an opportunity, we would convert the remaining ADA funds in the tooling sustainability program to USDM, and then work with the Andamio team to transition the payout from ADA to USDM accordingly. So yeah, leave your thoughts there. Christian.
Yeah, to clarify too, for those who may not have been there when the original decision was to go to ADA, we have to mint some of the USDM before we can convert it for liquidity or something like that. So Intersect has to partner with MBX and Moneta to get that done, and it's like a 30-day process and conversion, just for the FYI. So.
Okay. I'm going to keep moving forward here. As far as the tooling program selection criteria, that's going to go for an async vote. I was going to put that here, but please make sure that you go and look at that document, add to comments or add new comments if need be, or just reply to a comment and signify your approval of that change. And we'll get that finished up, but that'll go to async vote. And that needs to be addressed right away because we do need to sign or send off the milestone form on that. The next piece here is the Maintainer Retainer Program interview report, and I have that here as well. This was also shared in Discord. This reviews the first round of 15 applicants that we had, where we've selected 8 individuals from that group. There's a brief overview of each candidate, nothing that goes too far in depth. As I mentioned, there was some assistance in creating this document, so just wanted to make sure that I didn't miss anything. I'd already made quite a few edits, but at the end of the day, you guys need to sign off on it because it's getting published on your behalf. So if you have not looked at this, please do. But I am going to put up a poll signifying approval for this document, again, with the assumption that hopefully you guys have had a chance to review this ahead of time. Questions, comments, concerns? But
yeah, so I gone through the report. Yeah, looks all good. And question is that, or first my understanding is that it's been interviewed by previous committee member and some members, right, from our community, and it looks very detailed, nicely described what was found, right? I now, as the current committee members, what we are approving, I'm not able to verify all the content, but assuming these contents are correct, these contents, details, the rationale and everything looks okay. So we can definitely approve the report, that this report is acceptable, but I'm not putting any effort to verify any of the content. Is that okay, or your expectation is different?
all we need is a signatory. If you approve of it, that's great. If there's concerns, then comments need to be left so that we can address that accordingly. But other than that, a period for review has been given. Just need you guys to be familiar with this stuff because again, it's as the body in this point of time, you're the ones being signed off as having approved this document. So you just need to be comfortable that that's what's out there. I'll tell you, it's on blue in the face that I've done this as factually as I possibly can, right? But the entire purpose of this here is that we have the committee, right? The OSC is the check and balance of the work produced by the open source office in a support capacity.
I'll give a read through the report too, just to make sure it aligns with what I saw during interviews.
Yeah,
Okay.
and understand tax is a good point. I mean, see, I've not been part of the interviews, but I've seen the notes of interviewers, and I believe those are correct. And then based on that, looks like this report is prepared, and report format and otherwise expectation point of view, it meet the expectation, right? So that way, I'm quite comfortable, and I will be able to sign it off here.
Wonderful. All right. Before we get into the next topic here, just a reminder. Last I checked, we had at least 5 voting members present, so we do need to see at least those 5 votes coming on the polls. Again, if you're just attending the meeting or here for other reasons, please do not you do not need to contribute to the vote here. But voting members, please do make sure that you have responded to the polls. Okay. Regarding Open Source Summit Minneapolis, so the total cost of the sponsorship is $38,000. That's US dollars. I've spoken with them via email and in a meeting. Linux Foundation is also a nonprofit organization, so they do not allow any other further reduction in the cost of the sponsorship. So the $38,000 is where we sit. If we sponsor more than one event at any level, the discount that we would receive changes from 5% to 7%. That brings the cost of the North America Summit to $7,200. And I also shared in the Discord, the India Summit would be around 4,400 or something like that. I have to double check those numbers, but so there's an opportunity where potentially with Today and Reshma, we could get them access to the India Summit. If we wanted to try to further reduce the cost of the Minneapolis Summit, it is not at all required. I also put something in there about a back wall. A back wall would cost somewhere in the neighborhood of $3,000. That's additional funds. Right now, we're a bit on hold because basically paying for the summit right now would expunge the rest of our tangible funds that we have, and that is purely based on the ADA value at this time. If it's me, I still think the summit's very important. I don't know that there's a way that we can reduce from a gold to a silver because of the attendee capacity there. I think if we're going and we're going to do it, it needs to be at that gold level. But we have time to kind of hold on these things. So I'll take some open thoughts and discussion here as to what you guys want to do. At the end of the day, it is your decision.
Yeah, I'm quite in favor of it, but yeah, the ADA price is now dipping even last 24 hours, going bad to worse, right? But there, I wanted to add here. I maybe need to check, but I think I'm thinking or considering to attend the Paris Blockchain Summit or the Paris Blockchain Week, it's called. So is that added tax already there, or I need to add?
So that event, I was actually just looking at that today. I was just marking that as an event that we might need to pull back from. It had not been that particular event had not been officially approved, but individual attendance is approved. Again, it's really just a where do we stand with the ADA value and what we can pay for and which events are priority. So I'm not going to explicitly say no to that. But right now, if the priority is the summit, then we may not be able to cover that one.
Yeah, so I'm talking mostly from the attending point of view, but yeah, okay. Just mentioning, and I will write it down, and we'll see how ADA will kind of play in the next few weeks.
Okay. Does anybody wish to add the Open Source Summit India, assuming costs allow, to further reduce the cost of Minneapolis, the North America Summit, or do we just stay focused on Minneapolis at the $38,000?
How much was the cost again for India?
Let me check the Discord channel here. Apologies. Sebastian, I just saw your comment in OSC. Yes, you can add additional people to that meeting. Apologies, guys. I was not necessarily spamming, but I had a lot to share with you guys this week.
Good.
Okay. if we did both events, the Open Source Summit India is a cost of $4,650 and provides us 3 passes. So that would be one for Uday, one for Reshma, and one for the 2 of you to decide who else might join, or potentially Christian if he's able to make it.
We will have the booth as well.
No, actually, let me double check that. I have it right here.
Actually, that summit is happening in Bombay, right? Or this is
Mumbai?
India 2026. Yes, Mumbai. As a mother of a young child, I cannot leave my hometown, so it's far away from the place. So I'm not able to participate in that.
Okay, so you're saying you have personal reasons that prevent you from traveling?
Yes.
Okay, no problem. The sponsorship at India does give a tabletop, 2 chairs, and a tabletop sign with logo. It also provides power.
Okay.
Did that happen?
I'm not given thought on this one. Will let you know my feedback, but yeah, Christian possibly can guide on. If he's coming, will be perfect. And I think do that.
Yeah. At this point, I mean, there's quite a large cost, right? We're talking 5,000 plus in additional costs for another summit, just to save $800 on the one. So I'm not saying for us not to consider the summit in India, but we can kind of look at that if there are funds remaining in the ADA value returns, whereas we can just focus on the mainline numbers of what the cost of the North America Summit is. I can put that up as a poll if need be, or if there's general agreement, it would be that we just pursue the North America Summit at its regular cost of $38,000 with our already included discount.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the India one, maybe we can make the decision at later stage. That's what I will push the decision for India. But I mean, do we need to make the Minneapolis Summit decision today?
Yeah, I'd like to have the decision today. That way I can sign the contract whenever ADA value is appropriate. And so it's a good stewardship of funds. You guys will of course be notified about that. But if we get back to the original agreed contract value, then we have already understood what that's going to cost us. So the 38,000 equaling 72,000 ADA, right? Or 36,000 ADA, excuse me.
If it goes up to $1, we can do a lot of things too, Uday. So I also won't know if I'm able to go that way or not. It just depends on baby and his passport status. But yeah.
Yeah, I understand. Even going back to the Minneapolis Summit, I mean, it's not only the sponsorship thing, right? The travel and all those things will be also their tax, right?
That is correct. Yeah. So that's one of the big things that's tearing apart that event. This is also something where if the value returns, there's a significant portion of funds that would be converted into fiat so that we can pay for them accordingly. So basically, if we assume for just the moment, right, let's say that we have a random number, 150,000 ADA. If it hits the right value, all of that 150,000 ADA would be converted into fiat so that we have the right amounts to pay for different things. But the difference is that right now, instead of the 76,000, which we'd be budgeting for Minneapolis, the actual event sponsorship cost right now is coming in at 130 to 150,000 with fees.
Yeah.
So it's it's almost 200%. So.
I'm all for the approving the Minneapolis Summit today, just so that we have flexibility to act on that if the price of ADA improves. And then for the India Summit, It makes the most sense if we have at least 2 attendees with that booth attendance. But I'm okay to wait on that, dependent on if the price of ADA approves and people decide to go.
Okay. Bernard?
I want to check again on the North America Summit. It is a Linux Foundation event. Am I right?
Correct.
I think the Cardano Linux partnership on open source is very important. And attending as a gold member, I think is very valuable. In that sense, I go for it.
Got it. Alrighty then. So what I'm gleaning from this here is for North America, yes, we're kind of putting all our eggs in one basket for right now. Basically, well, that's the wrong way to say it, but we're going to pursue that to the best way possible here, hoping that we get a valuation return. The back wall we'll leave for a later decision, or we can decide that asynchronously. And then as far as India, that's on hold until we confirm if we have attendance or not. Now, there are going to need to be some planning meetings for this. I am trying to get things done as quickly as possible, but with us not being able to garner the sponsorship right away, I don't want to set up meetings that are not having purpose. So I'll circle back on that, but please let me know if you're interested in being part of the planning meetings. If you are attending, I actually do expect you to contribute if you can, please. So let me know what times you would have available for a 30-minute or 1-hour meeting on a weekly basis, or bi-weekly, every other week as time goes on. So think about kind of like throughout the month of March and April, what we could get together, because we're going to have to finalize things in those 2 months. And hopefully by the end of March, again, that's all value dependent. Okay, I'm moving fast. Please check the minutes. Haroon?
Are the meetings open to everyone here?
The meetings would probably be just for the committee for planning, but I'll take any feedback that you guys have based on where the plan stands. I'll be able to share that with you guys once the committee has something together. Okay. The next thing on the agenda, we're going to keep moving because we are running out of time here. So the maintainer retainer program, we do have a number of new applicants. Stuff kind of flooded in over the last number of days. I think we're up to 8 or 9 applicants for what'll be round 2. This is really good for us fulfilling the program, but I do need people to be able to attend an interview. We do need committee member feedback and scoring on both the applicant data and the interviews themselves. And we're now going to be tracking this in ClickUp. So right now I'm going to be duplicating some of the information into ClickUp so that we have it tracked for what stage each person is in. But again, we will still use the Google Sheets documents for scoring and data tracking. So please, I would say, reach out to me or drop your times in the channel for when you're available for interviews. I can put something out like a let us meet, but honestly, what's going to be best is individual times. Hey, I can attend interviews in these window blocks, and then I can just send out the invites accordingly. Questions on that?
No questions. I was involved in the interviews of the first cohort. I can help with that. I can help with this one. Yeah, thanks.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I will provide availability tags. Next 3-4 days I'm not available, but I think next week, Thursday, Friday onward, I'm available. So I will provide you my availability.
Yeah. And also something to consider is more than just this next coming week. It's kind of through the end of February, which you might have available for that. So look at the upcoming weeks, plural, please, when you're sending those times. And again, if you got a standard set of times, a standard 2 or 3 hour block that's available weekly, that's really helpful. That's not how long the interviews are. The interviews are usually 15 to 30 minutes, so it's super quick. I just need to know when you might have some free time. We can throw that in. Okay. Keep it moving here. Once again, we've got whiskey, vodka, and dandelion light. These were all decided asynchronously. I'm just calling for it officially here in the meeting. These projects have been onboarded to the maintainer retainer program. That leaves us with 3 project spaces left for us to onboard. If we get into a situation, again, as we may be extending some of the maintainer retainer program, you guys may have approval of additions there for Charlie 3. We can discuss whether or not we reduce maintainership on some of these other projects to just 1 so that we can add additional projects. But the primary goal is to get our 25, which again, we're 3 away from, and to get up to 2 maintainers per repository there. So to package the filler, again, whiskey, vodka, and dandelion light have been added to the maintainer retainer program. I expect that we may already have some applications for them, but if not, please do be sharing those in addition to the other repositories. Sebastian.
Yeah, whiskey and vodka come from the same project, right? The same
They do.
project. So
Yes.
the
Mhm.
deadline scale. So we have to consider that.
Yeah, my understanding is that that's already been considered, and that would be very similar to how we have Mesh SDK and Mesh multisig. So not necessarily a problem for us to have 2 projects from the same group. Again, the core projects are all from Intersect, but I understand that's not the same comparison. So okay. I'll run through this AOB here just real quick because that'll lead into Christian. So first things first, the committee elections are coming up here in April. We've already been made aware of these. As it stands currently, we have 7 members on the open source committee, and of these members, 2 are departing in April. So that would mean that we would be electing 5. If I can just get that confirmation here that everyone agrees we would be looking for 5 people to join the open source committee, then I will move that along.
So the 2 who are kind of terms completing in April, who are the 2?
One is a member who's actually not been attending and may be dismissed by the time we reach that period. Kind of interesting that it's working out that way timeline wise, but actually the dismissal would come by the end of February. The other one is Georg, who is our current chair.
Okay. Okay. Good to know.
Okay. With no other qualms, I'm going to see that as a passing motion, if you will. So five committee members to be elected in April 2026. Please do note that would be for a 2-year term as well. So I understand our expiring member is not here, but when you are marketing to others, please do advise that a 2-year term has been approved. And so that would be the expectation when they sign on. More details will come out with the election data. So, okay. I'm going to let Christian give the updates on the accelerator program specifically, but it does involve budget to an extent. So keep in mind that the OSC would need to decide whether or not we wish to write a contract that promises funding from a future Treasury withdrawal, or whether or not we just want to pay out what we have in that bucket. Additionally, we also need to confirm if the committee is willing to divert all funds to one supplier to manage the delivery of the accelerator program, or if you'd prefer that that be milestone based, meaning that they would only be able to pull certain amounts of the funding at a time, and we can decide how many milestones that is, because that's still under contract. But let me hopefully pass this to Christian to give the rest of the updates.
Yeah, so to make this kind of have impact, we've been able to consolidate a partnership with both Chin, Strap, and Storm for what we have allocated in the budget to do all 3 programs and include a demo day at the end with mentorship available. That'll run the full cost of the budget, and it's only going to be one workshop, not a series done. It's the most realistic thing. Commercialization working group already gave their thumbs up for the scope. And Storm has agreed to ride the worry of the ADA price fluctuation and take what's there. I'm encouraging for them to take administration of the program. And my current thoughts on, they did put in a request that if ADA drops even further, either we have some mitigation strategy where we include in a future treasury budget pending that gets approved, and or we could pull from the project support bucket. Since this program does support projects, there is that delineation we could try to explain. Or we delay the launch of the accelerator till the price is more reflective. Is kind of where I'm going with it, rather than doing another promise. But I rather pull from project support rather than promise on a future withdrawal we have no control over if we were to do anything like that. So that's just the update. I also sent the proposal over to Chinstrap to make sure they're okay with it, since they're being included and wrapped in this. But we also are open to do the milestone program. If y'all want to do it that way, it's just more admin on our side to facilitate that. So, and I will link that proposal in the Discord shortly.
All right. Questions, comments, concerns, anything on the accelerator program updates?
Oh, to clarify too, Storm would be taking ownership to get these projects prepared and in front of investors on their demo day. That's the key thing there. So.
So just trying to understand in a accelerator program, one is that in accelerator they have the admin fee, so of course that's one part. But the people who participate in this program, do they all get the only the kind of advisory and kind of support, or are we talking about funding as well there?
So the basically people come through the program will get a 3 workshop series to help them figure out how they commercialize open source software, how they get investor business model strategy and pitch decks together, and then product market fit and technical validation. Then at the end of that, they get put in front of investors for the demo day and do mock pitch, and then they have one-to-one mentor options available. Now, the program, we've already slotted 5,000 goes to Chinstrap for the option 1. The other 45K will be split from Storm to all their mentors in the education program, as well as the investors that come on board. Anything additional from this is where we potentially do ad hoc project support requests from the projects themselves if they need additional support, because that's kind of what that program is meant for anyway. But the reason I'm doing this is because with the way ADA, getting any kind of workshop series quality like this with also getting in front of investors for the budget we have is almost near impossible. So I had to pull some strings to get them to agree to this. So I think the idea of this is to pilot if this accelerator is going to be even workable and something to potentially help build a more Cardano native Silicon Valley in the future. Because I think the only other options right now is like the Techstars or Draper U. And those are big budget funds right now. So this is just to see if there's interest in this kind of thing for projects.
Yeah.
But,
Ultimately, no, the help I think could be appreciated, but I think ultimately this player will come that, if they can get funding either, from here or through some investors kind of the thing, right? So that if we can be successful at that level, I think this program can attract a lot of interest.
Yeah. Everything else we have in the Possum is towards open source projects. This is the only one that comforts those post-Catalyst business products, and trying to help build more mature projects that way. So,
yeah.
Good.
Bernard?
Yes, I am aware of an accelerator program shared with the ambassadors I think it's run by Cardano Foundation. I want to find out how will this one be different to that one?
So the Venture Hub, we've already been in contact with them with the commercialization working group. Their programs, I think Storm ran the first one, if I'm not mistaken. That's why we were put in contact with them. This one's different in the sense that it is more general projects and focused towards post-catalyst projects in particular. I mean, anyone can still apply, but you're going to get an exclusive commercial open source software course, and then the other two are the more generic things. And the Venture Hub on their next cohort specifically focusing on RWAs and DeFi, I think. So they actually have topics that they're choosing for their program. But what we're trying to do is, if this program is successful, is to partner with the Venture Hub and create something that's more not entity driven, but have a CDEC equivalent that helps commercialization activity that brings everyone together. Because what we want to do is provide multiple pathways and multiple options to everyone. And the other differentiator is our program's virtual. We won't have a on-site that I'm aware of. So that's the other piece.
All right. Quick note here that everything that was pulled for appears to have passed. I will obviously confirm that with the meeting minutes as well. I know we're down to basically 1 minute, but does anybody have any questions on anything that we discussed today? Anything that you need to note? Okay. I'm going to give another ploy that says, please, can we update the activity level in Discord? Obviously, I understand everyone is busy, but I'm kind of a chatterbox to myself at the moment, minus Sebastian coming in at some times. So if we can get a lot more active there, just kind of keep an eye on that. Let's increase our async communication here. That way, when we get to these meetings, we are all more well informed. And again, you can DM me on certain stuff, but there's not much that we can't talk about as a group. So please just put it in the channel, and any questions that you have in depth, and let's get into it. Okay. Thank you, everyone. See you in a couple weeks.
Thank y'all.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.